Winter weather headaches right now. We've got team coverage with everything you need to know from your forecast all the way to the roads.
Yeah, it's pretty treacherous out there. Just look at this bad accident on I-25 and Plum Creek Parkway earlier this morning.
And now the winter storm has snarled holiday travel. The 1-2 punch of bad weather proving to make Thanksgiving travel even more exhausting and challenging than it already is. Airlines canceling flights ahead of time, and they're offering customers a chance to reschedule without racking up standard ticket change fees, so that's nice. Let's take a live look outside right now. This is I-70 near Vail. You can see several semis taking a break there on the shoulder, and just east of Avon, westbound I-70 is closed due to a deadly crash that happened very early this morning in very snowy conditions. According to Colorado State Patrol, there was a hazmat situation and a number of other crashes up that way. So for you on today's wintry weather, News Channel 13's Alexis Dominguez, Sam Postis, they're both out in the elements. We'll get to them in a moment with an update on road conditions. But first, let's send it over to Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Katie Donovan.
Yeah, thanks so much, Josh and Bryn. So weather alert is out today. Just because that snow continues to fall around parts of the area. It's not very heavy right now, but we are still seeing some snow showers north of Colorado Springs, maybe even in the Colorado Springs area here, just based on radar, with some heavier snow in the northeast part of the county between Calhoun, Simla, as far south as Ellicott here. Now we send things to News Channel 13's Alexis Dominguez, and she's at one of the biggest trouble spots in Colorado Springs. We're, of course, talking about Fillmore Hill.
Alexis, thank you for braving the elements all morning long. How you doing out there?
Definitely cold, but the weather has been kind of on and off today. So, right now we're a little bit lucky. It's, not looking so bad, but this is one of the trouble spots that we often see. And as you can see right now, not that many cars having some trouble right now, which is a good thing, but don't let that fool you. A lot of people had some hardships today. Heavy snow hit El Paso County hard, causing whiteout conditions in many parts of Monument.
And while no one wants to get snowed in,
it would be a bummer for sure, but we'd have to make the most of it.
Passengers we talked to says that's part of traveling through Colorado.
Well, we're fine. Yeah. We're not in a rush.
I'm not surprised, honestly. Living out here for the past 6 years, kind of expect it. I've flown in bad weather a lot, so I'm not too worried about it.
It's the right attitude.
It really is. And, yeah, my hearts go out to everyone traveling, not just the people at the airport, but I-70 shut down in both directions.
I know.
Oh, my goodness gracious. And especially out once you get towards eastern Colorado, western Kansas.
They just got dumped on.
No man's land. Be prepared if you're driving. Make sure you have a kit in your car ready to go. We'll check in with Sam Postis, who's in Monument a little later. But right now, we want to remind you that you can keep ahead of the storms and their impact by downloading our KRDO weather app.
It's free and it's easy to use. It's going to give you real-time updates during winter weather. Today, you can get it for your Android or your Apple. Welcome back, everyone. Here is a live look at Monument, I-25 and Highway 105. Our Community Banks of Colorado Weather Network camera. Just a winter wonderland up there. It doesn't look like we're seeing any major snowfall, just a couple flurries up there. Not seeing a whole lot of cars either, but talk about some serious snowfall. Monument coming in with, 15, 18 inches?
Too much.
15, a lot. Oh my gosh, obviously snow starting to taper, but those strong winds are something we still need to be aware of. Temperatures are in the 20s and 30s all day, and we're going to catch up with Katie and Sam in just a little bit for our conditions, but the weather is certainly impacting driving conditions all over Colorado. We've seen a number of accidents and issues as well as closures.
In hindsight, though, it's almost a miracle we haven't seen more, because earlier this morning, a fresh 6 inches of powder here in Colorado Springs alone. We're not talking the higher elevations.
Right. Thank goodness the kids didn't have school, and hopefully a lot of parents, it's a holiday week, they just stayed in.
That has a lot to do with it, I think. Our team coverage begins with KRDO News Channel 13's Hannah Knutson here to break down the trouble spots we have seen. Hannah, you got in as early as we did this morning to start tracking this.
Yes, and I do have some good news right now. If you are traveling out east, earlier this morning, Highway 24 was closed between Calhoun and Lyman. That is not the case anymore. Highway 24 has reopened in either direction. I still am seeing I-70 closed in either direction. This is between Air Park Road, which is around the Denver area, to Burlington, which is at the Kansas state line. Still seeing that closed. I was seeing tweets for CDOT asking for updates on that, but giving you a look on that roadway out east on I-70. Here's a look in Lyman. Seeing those slick and snow-packed roads, not an area you want to be traveling in. In Colorado Springs, we are accident-free. Throughout the morning, we've seen some stalled vehicles on roadways, and we have seen some collisions, but right now, not seeing any of those accidents. And it's like you were mentioning, Josh and Bryn, many people staying home today, which is good. If you can stay home, you should. The city of Colorado Springs and the city of Fountain, as well as the city of Pueblo, are all still on accident alert status. Again, seeing the snow-packed roads and slick on and off ramps. Well, getting off the maps and onto the roads, I want to send things over to Storm Tracker 13, Sam Postage. Sam, you're outside in Monument. You've been tracking the roads all morning. How's it like right now?
Well, it's pretty crazy, Anna. The sun's trying to come out, even though it's been pretty unsuccessful so far today. And yeah, we've gotten a lot of snow up in Monument, like what Katie was mentioning, upwards of even potentially 15, 19 inches. But it's not so much the amount of snow at the moment that's the biggest problem, it's the wind. We've been seeing the occasional 30, 35 mile an hour wind gusts, and it kind of just cuts right through you. It's pretty cold out here, and visibility goes down pretty fast. I'm gonna run into the car. Try and get out of the wind. Whew. Yeah, it's much nicer in the old car, but you can tell though road conditions completely snow-packed on 105. We're going to be headed south on 105 towards Monument. And a quick update on I-25. Actually, significant improvements to I-25. It has been plowed thoroughly, and it's mostly just wet in spots now. Not so much ice or snow covered. The plows and CDOT have done a fantastic job on 25, and now it does kind of seem like the plows are trying to branch off away from I-25 and kind of get the more rural spots like 105 and some of the Monument areas. But again, just be careful traveling today. Hopefully the sun continues to come out and melt some of this stuff, help us drivers. But from Monument area, I'm meteorologist Sam Postage. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. Stay safe out there. And this leads us to our web question today. We want to know, have you ever been stranded at the airport or on the road due to winter weather? Let us know. I was seeing a report of 1,000 people stranded at DIA last night. Let us know if you're in that group or what your story is. If it's been recently or in the past, you can leave a comment on our Facebook or Twitter page at KRDO News Channel 13. Your response may be mentioned coming up in the next half hour. Josh and Bryn, back to you.
Thanks, Hannah. Next on KRDO News at noon, we're not the only ones getting hammered with snow this week. If you have anyone traveling from out of state, we have some snowy updates for you.
And we speak with one traveler who's caught up in the storm today, doing anything she can to try and get home.
And here's another look at those temperatures right now. We've got 20s to 30s around Colorado, even some teens up over the mountains today, thanks to that winter storm that came through. But things are going to be looking up a little bit as we head into your holiday. We will be previewing that and a chilly night ahead here for southern Colorado coming up after the break. It's 12:15.
We've got team coverage on all the heavy snowfall and those strong winds. We'll get to Sam Postage and Alexis Dominguez, who are braving the elements for us in a moment. But first, let's go straight to Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Katie Donovan. Katie, I wasn't expecting quite this much snow.
Yeah, up north we did end up a lot higher than what we were expecting. You know, you win some of these forecasts, you lose some. Colorado's going to do what it wants in the end here. But places a little bit further south did end up in those ranges that we expected. And looking towards Woodland Park, we're in that 8.5-inch range. Manitou Springs coming in around that, and Colorado Springs also in that 6 to 8-inch range for snow total. So pretty impressive. It really did a number on the road. So on that note, we're going to check in with Storm Tracker 13's meteorologist Sam Postage. Sam, you are in Monument. How are the roads looking right now?
Well, Katie, the roads have actually improved pretty dramatically over the course of the morning. When we first got up here at about 4:30 this morning, completely snow-packed roads. You could not see the pavement, you couldn't see any of the lane dividers, nothing. And now it more or less seems slushy, icy in spots potentially, and also still slick, but mostly just wet roads on I-25. And yeah, we're on the I-25 southbound lanes, and then we were just on the northbound lanes. Very similar road conditions over there. The on and off ramps are still snow covered in spots, but we've been seeing minimal accumulation for the last hour. I'd almost categorize this type of snowfall as just light snow. It's not really piling up anymore, and the sun's trying to come out. It's been pretty cloudy and gloomy all day long, but once the sun comes out, hopefully that can melt some of the snow on the roadways, because even 105 and through the downtown Monument area is still snow-packed and very tricky traveling conditions. So hopefully the snow begins to let up, and what you've been mentioning, Katie, I think it will. But from Monument, I'm meteorologist Sam Postich. Now let's get a check at your road conditions in Colorado Springs with Alexis.
Well, we're definitely still seeing a little bit of snowfall out here in North Colorado Springs. It's a lot colder. It seems like the wind has kind of come a little bit stronger, but let me show you the roads here. It's a lot better than other places we've seen here in Colorado Springs, especially things that we saw in North Colorado Springs. We saw a lot of cars abandoned. We also saw some cars fishtailing while driving, but as you can see here, roads are a lot more clear than they are probably in many parts of Colorado Springs. But let me show you a little bit about what we saw earlier. Now, plows were working really hard throughout the day today, just trying to keep up with the heavy snowfall accumulating quickly. Northern Colorado roads were hit with several inches of snow, forcing many drivers to take it slow. Chad Carey only hit the road in hopes of getting home and staying warm.
They're snowpacked for sure. Just headed to the store to get some firewood and start a fire and stay inside today.
That same heavy snow hit Monument, which probably got the worst brunt of the storm, as Sam showed you a little bit earlier. Some whiteout conditions there were the normal for today for many drivers. But back here in the Springs, it seems like the sun is trying to come out, but I don't know if it will. I think we all have our fingers crossed. I'm sure a lot of us want this snow to melt at least a little bit, but we, of course, will be tracking your weather. Still kind of cold out here, so I'm in Colorado Springs. Alexis Dominguez, KRDO News Channel 13.
What a trooper. Alexis
Yeah.
has been out there all day. She hasn't been able to get in the car or do any reports, and we're so thankful, but it's cold out there. She's been in the snow battling all those conditions.
She deserves an award.
Yeah, and some hot cocoa.
Or at least a chocolate cupcake.
Yeah, we have those.
Yeah, we do.
We'll save her one.
We do.
And Saturday, Sunday, sunny skies with some 30s, staying in the 30s and 40s for next week. So be nice to have that little break there over the weekend.
Absolutely. A lot of family stays in town through the weekend. So, you know, if things weren't perfect to get the holiday week started, maybe they can end on a better note.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Optimistic.
And, you know, we wanted to take a look at what you thought about our web question. We were talking to each other, wondering about if you had any stories about being stranded. How did you handle it? What happened? Were you ever at the airport, maybe on the road because of really bad winter weather? Hannah, what were people's responses?
Yes, and a lot of this too because of DIA. I mean, Colorado Springs Airport, not so bad today, but over 460 cancellations at the Denver airport. Oof. And so we were wondering, I believe it was 1,000 passengers stuck there last night. So we were wondering if that was you or a time that you maybe got stranded at the airport or on the road. Tammy says, stuck in DIA because it was storming in Texas, not fun or comfortable, slept in a corner on the floor. Ugh. Leah says, in 1979, my family was stranded on I-70 overnight between Lyman and Burlington.
Oh,
that's where it's closed right now.
Way.
I thought my parents were crazy to want to move here. Sandy says, yep, stuck in Oklahoma for 2 nights when DIA was closed for a storm a few years ago. Charlie says he got high-centered in a snowbank out east about 50 years ago. Her husband was in a leg cast, so she had to trudge through the snow about a mile to get to a house and then get the tow truck. Laura says Thanksgiving storm of 1983, my first plane ride, and was her last plane ride out, but hubby stranded in Denver for 3 days. Ooh. James says he got stranded for 10 hours and nearly died during the bomb cyclone last year. Nothing but pure white nothingness and 90-mile-per-hour winds. Very fortunate to be here, and to make matters worse, my wife got blown into a ditch trying to come get me. Closest I came to thinking it was really over. And that bomb cyclone, many people stranded on the interstate and highways during that event. And today, not seeing as many stranded on the roadways, but seeing people still stuck at the airports.
Absolutely. I'm thankful that I'm staying here locally in Colorado. You can always move plans and see family at a later date, and it's just driving distance. But when you bring flights into it, things can get hairy fast.
Oh, for sure.
Thanks, Hannah. Remember, for all of our top stories, just go to our website, krdo.com. Here's a live look right now at the Sangre de
Wow,
Cristos.
can't see anything.
No, you sure can't. Hopefully the sun comes out soon. We'll have more news coming up. Don't go anywhere. We have some breaking news this afternoon. Danny Freed is up in Woodland Park right now where there's a house fire happening. It's at Foster Avenue near Green Valley Road, and it appears to be pretty large. Do we have that video right now? We don't. Okay.
We do have Danny standing by, though. We want to get to her right now.
Yeah, guys, that's right. And actually, I want to completely get out of the frame now because this is an active fire. They are putting it out right now. It seems like the flames are out, thank goodness, but you can see these firefighters really working hard to make sure that they are completely out dousing this house. This is live. This is happening right now as you're watching, like we said, off of Foster and Howard. Now, at this time, we don't have very much information. We, of course, have not had a chance to speak with these firefighters because they are busy making sure that this fire is completely out. It looks like all the structures surrounding the fire are okay, but this one here does look to be a total loss. There are multiple different agencies here. Of course, these firefighters here working hard to put it out. There's also UPass Regional Emergency Medical Services, and then, of course, a couple other police officers from Manitou Springs, even in Woodland Park here, to ensure everything is safe. Like I said, looks like the home is a total loss. We will continue to stay on this for you and alert you as to whether or not anybody was injured, anyone was in the home. In the meantime, though, the big concern does seem to be the winds in this area. So making sure that any hot spots from this house fire are out is definitely key. We'll keep you posted on what happens here, but for now, we are live in Woodland Park. Danny Freed, KRDO News Channel 13.
Danny, thank you. Looks like a really big house fire. She was actually on her way back from the Walmart, that story that she did, and ended up seeing that. So our fingers are crossed. We hope no one was inside. Everyone's okay. Obviously.
That's the first thing you think about.
Yeah, it's too early. She just stumbled onto this breaking news, so we'll keep following it for you.
Yep, absolutely. Now we have breaking news right now happening in Jersey City across the Hudson from Manhattan.
According to ABC News in New York, you're going to look at a live feed coming in. A Jersey City police officer was injured when at least one gunman opened fire in a cemetery and then fled into a bodega where he continued firing at officers. You're looking at live video from the scene right now. This shows the responding officers outside that area in defense positions as that shooting continues on. The situation is obviously very active and ongoing, and a major street, Martin Luther King Drive, is closed in both directions right now as crews work to investigate what happens and try and find the suspect. Several schools in the area were placed on lockdown. ATF has tweeted it has agents responding to the scene. We're going to be following this through our noon hour as well as online, so stick with KRDO.
Back here in Colorado Springs, one person is in the hospital with serious injuries after being hit by a vehicle at the intersection of Nevada and Las Vegas.
KRDO News Channel 13's Colby Crosley joins us now live at that scene with more on what happened. Colby?
Yeah, Josh and Bryn, right behind me here is where the incident occurred. Now, both of these lanes, the southbound and northbound lanes, they were shut down for at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer this morning in both directions as they cleaned up what exactly happened here. Now, the pedestrian was crossing the street when they were hit by a white Dodge pickup. Now, the person that was hit was crossing the street legally this morning, but in most cases, that's not often what happens. You see a lot of people here jaywalking. In fact, just a moment ago, we saw people walking across when they were not supposed to, making this one of the most problematic intersections for CSPD here in Colorado Springs. Now, as for the status of that victim, we have yet to hear about his injuries. All we know is that it's serious. We will continue to keep you updated. For now, I'll send it back to you here in Colorado Springs. Colby Crosley, KRDO News Channel 13.
Colby, thank you. Developing news this morning, the brand new Colorado Springs welcome sign was vandalized earlier today, presumably by Devon Bailey supporters.
KRDO News Channel 13's Crystal Story joins us live from the sign with the latest over there on the north end of town. Crystal.
Josh, when Colorado Springs police arrived early this morning, this sign was still wet. You can see that crews from the neighborhood quality team got here, and it took them about 3 hours to clean up, but there are still droplets of red paint that are still wet and dripping from the crevices of this sign. This is what the sign looked like this morning when the sun came up. The big question is, we still don't know when someone tagged tagged the sign, whether that was last night or very early this morning. On the east side of the sign, it said, Devon Bailey will not RIP, and red paint was thrown all over the words Colorado Springs. Crews who were here this morning scrubbed the sign, but it took a lot of work to get all the paint off. This is coming after tension between Devon Bailey supporters. There was a protest during the Festival of Lights this Saturday, and then, of course, that came just one day after Devon Bailey's memorial was taken away and then replenished that same night on Friday. So clearly there was a lot of tension. We've reached out to the city and the mayor's office, who are not offering comment today. We've also reached out to some Devon Bailey supporters, and it doesn't appear that any of them are available to talk just yet. But clearly this sign sends a message. This red paint is incredibly hard to scrub off. It even got on the ground. You can see they've used some dirt to try and clean up some of the paint, but it can only do so much. So we'll see if they're back out here again cleaning. We'll keep you updated on what happens with this latest development. We're live on the north side of Colorado Springs. Crystal Story, KRDO News Channel 13.
We have some breaking news we want to get back to. Currently happening in Jersey City in New Jersey. A massive gun battle has begun in a neighborhood there. ABC is reporting that a Jersey City police officer was shot and wounded by 2 suspects. You're looking at live footage coming in right now. SWAT teams and federal agents are at the scene right now, and police there are blocking off a major street. Loud volleys of gunfire could be heard at regular intervals, but subsided around 2 p.m. local time. We're seeing a lot of things on social media of people actually filming this event, and the gunfire is so loud and so prominent. Obviously a very scary situation.
Yeah, it sounded like a war zone for over an hour. We still don't know if police are closing in on these suspects or not. Very scary situation. There's a Catholic school nearby. There's a Jewish Orthodox school right across the street from some convenience stores, including a kosher supermarket, where they initially say some of those suspects ran into and were shooting out of a storefront. There's also a hairstylist, so a very mom and pop type street with lots of schools in the area. Phones are being unanswered by several nearby businesses. The Catholic parish, Sacred Heart, has also closed. Schools are on lockdown in the area. No one's answered at an associated school that people have been trying to get a hold of. The governor of New Jersey has issued a statement saying he's been briefed on the unfolding situation and expressing confidence in law enforcement to resolve the situation, trying to keep the area safe. Governor Phil Murphy saying today reminds us of officers' bravery and sacrifices and those of their families. So keep it here on KRDO and on our website. We'll bring you the latest information as it does come in. This is obviously a very developing situation.
Welcome back, everyone. We are continuing to track that breaking news. It's a war zone situation in New Jersey, an active shooting. New Jersey's governor says police officers have been shot in the Jersey City standoff. Here you are looking at live footage of that situation. New Jersey police just tweeted out a few moments ago, today is a horrific day. Officers have come under attack and we have several wounded. Our hearts are heavy and the violence is not over. We need your prayers.
Yeah, there have been reports of sporadic, very heavy gunfire. Sounds like a war zone if you see some of these videos. SWAT teams, federal agents, FBI at the scene. Police have blocked off a major thoroughfare. Loud gunfire could be heard at regular intervals, but it subsided a short time ago. There's a local reporter there who says there's no gunfire in the past few minutes, but police have continued to be concerned about not only the suspects from inside one of the stores, but there's a U-Haul outside the store with unconfirmed reports saying that those suspects pulled up in that U-Haul, that there's ammunition inside. Again, that's unconfirmed. Those are sporadic reports we've seen from other reporters who are there in that area right now. Schools are on lockdown. Kids can't evacuate right now because it is too dangerous of a scene. Now, keep it on here on KRDO and for our website on KRDO.com. We'll update you as this information continues to flood in.